The government initiates a process of mass metering in the country. We shall take a closer look at the process on tonight's edition of Weekend File. Have a good evening and welcome to the program. National Metering Initiative is designed to ensure a seamless metering process that allows customers to register and be metered on the same day after following due process. The process is primarily to increase the metering rate in the country and close the gap of unmetered customers. Since the power sector was liberalized in 2005, Nigeria has faced severe metering challenges. In August, President Buhari directed the introduction of a mass metering program with the aim of bridging the metering gap, eliminating the arbitrary estimated billing such often results in customers paying more power than they consume. The emergence of a nationwide mass metering program is federal government's response to the problems associated with estimated billing, and we shall learn more in the course of the program. My name is Kirian Umayo, and it's good to see you again on the program. The news starts right now. 54 students out of 884 are said to be missing after gunmen attacked Government Boys Secondary School in Kankara Council area of Katsina State. A member of staff of the school told newsmen that a head count at the school today shows that 54 students are yet to either return or rescued by security operatives. Meanwhile, Katsina State Ministry of Education.
Bandits attacked the Science Boys Secondary School in the night around 9 p.m., shooting sporadically with AK-47 rifles. The policemen on duty also responded to the attack and engaged them in a gun duel, which gave the students opportunity to scale the fence of the school and run for safety. SP Gamba Isa is the Police Public Relations Officer, Katsina State Police Command.
In the course of that exchange of fire, one of our inspectors sustained gunshot wound and was taken to the hospital. Presently is responding to treatment. Today, this morning, in the course of our investigation, we have rescued over 200 of the students and we returned them back into the school compound.
Governor Aminu Bello Masari, who visited the affected school, described the incident as unfortunate, assuring parents that government will do everything within its powers to rescue the missing students. The police, Nigerian Army and the Air Force are working with the school authorities to ascertain the actual number of the missing or kidnapped students. In Katsina, Awal Halliru, NTA News.
Meanwhile, Katsina State Ministry of Education has directed that third term for 2019-2020 academic session in both public and private schools in the state ends today, Saturday, 12 December 2020. This follows the attack on Government Boys Secondary School, Kankara, by suspected armed bandits. A statement from the State Ministry of Education signed by its Public Relations Officer, Sani Danjuma Suleiman, directs public, community and private schools to remain closed until further notice. President Muhammadu Buhari on Saturday strongly condemned the bandits' attack at the Government Science Secondary School, Kankara, in Katsina State, charging the army and the police to go after the attackers to ensure that no student gets missing or harmed. The president urged the school authorities to carry out an audit of the population of the students following shootings in and around the school that sent hundreds of them fleeing and scrambling over perimeter walls. Parents who rushed to the school and removed their children and walls were also required to notify the school and police authorities in order to have a fallout or a full account of the school population. The president says in the last briefing received from Governor Aminu Bello Masari, with whom he was in touch, and the Army Chief of Staff, Chief General Toko Buratai, the military supported by air power has located the bandits' enclave and at Zango Paula Forest in Kankara, and there have been exchange of fire in the ongoing operation. Police said so far there has not been reported any student casualty. The president also directed the reinforcement of security of all schools in line with the safe school policy of the administration. Meanwhile, the Northern Governors Forum is enraged over Saturday's attack by bandits on Government Science Secondary School, Kankara in Katsina State. Chairman of the forum and Governor of Plateau State, Simon Bako Long, in a statement said the governors totally condemned the unfortunate incident, which is regrettable, while expressing solidarity with their colleagues or their colleague, Governor Aminu Bello Masari. The government and people of Katsina State, the Northern Governors Forum, said they stand with the authorities as they do everything possible to respond to the situation and ensure that no student gets missing or harmed. The Inspector General of Police, Mohammed Adamu, has ordered the deployment of additional operational and investigative assets to support the ongoing search and rescue operations in Kankara and its environs in Katsina State. A statement by the 4th Public Relations Officer, DCP Frank Mba, indicates that the deployment is equal to the attack on Government Science Secondary School, Kankara, Katsina State, by heavily armed men. Meanwhile, the IGP has ordered the immediate review and strengthening of security arrangements around educational institutions in the country. The Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Tukur Buratai, has enjoined troops not to be distracted by the International Criminal Court (ICC) to investigate war crimes against Nigerian forces in the northeast. The Army Chief's message, contained in a statement by the Acting Director, Army Public Relations, Brigadier General Sagir Musa, notes that the ICC statement, followed by a release by the local branch of Amnesty International demanding investigation of alleged atrocities by Nigerian forces, has the tendency to distract and demoralize troops. The Nigerian Army charged the troops to be focused and be guided by the rules of engagement, the code of conduct, and the standard operational procedures for all Nigerian Army operations. The United States of America government has handed over regional maritime awareness capability facilities to the Nigerian Navy to support the country's quest to end crime and criminalities in the Gulf of Guinea. Michael Olaleye has that report.
From the exchange and transfer of Coast Guard quotas to peacekeeping missions and various sea exercises, the relationship between the Nigerian and the U.S. navies spans 60 years. This bilateral synergy was once again rekindled with the handing over of the Regional Maritime Awareness Capability Facilities. The Regional Maritime Awareness Capability, also known as RMAC, is an American-sponsored coastal surveillance using automatic identification system and ground-based radar to track maritime traffic, some of which might constitute threat to the country's territorial waters. The Nigerian Navy cannot quantify the timeliness, especially as the facilities will augment the already established center across 3 operational commands.
The introduction of the Regional Maritime Awareness Capability Facilities has greatly assisted in enhancing our maritime policing effort through intelligence-based patrols, thereby reducing the cost of logistics, which hitherto was the case when we go on blind patrols looking for target of opportunity.
To the American government, the gesture is the consolidation of a process which began in 2006.
You are uniquely placed here, and your responsibilities are greater than many of your neighboring countries. We previously transferred 2 ex-U.S. Coast Guard cutters to the Navy, known as the NNS Okpabana and the NNS Thunder, which are proving to be key elements of your anti-piracy and maritime security efforts.
Like similar platforms such as C4I and Falcon I, the Regional Maritime Awareness Capability will assist the Navy in profiling, monitoring, and confronting vessels that constitute a threat to the country's exclusive economic zone. In Lagos, Michael Olale, NTA News.
President Muhammadu Buhari has approved the appointment of an interim administrator to oversee the affairs of the Niger Delta Development Commission, NDDC. He is Mr. Effiong Okon Akwa, the AG, Executive Director, Finance and Administration of the Commission, who is to assume headship to completion of the forensic audit. Mr. Akwa is a fellow of the Institute of Chartered Accountants and a solicitor of the Supreme Court of Nigeria. The development became necessary as a result of a plethora of litigation and a restraining order issued recently against the Interim Management Committee of the NDDC by a federal high court here in Abuja. Although Nigerian startups were not able to pitch their innovative ideas in order to stand a chance of competing with their counterparts across the globe at this year's Gulf Information Technology Exhibition, GITEX, due to the coronavirus pandemic, their solutions were greeted with commendations. ICT correspondent Joseph Johnson reports that they were charged to utilize the knowledge and digital platform exposure gained in harnessing indigenous national innovation economic development.
In 2019, Nigeria came to GITEX with 10 startups and competed favorably. 2 of them reached semi-finals, while one of them, that's Chineke Guard, won Best Startup in the AI category with a cash prize of $10,000. 2020's edition was slightly different, as pitching was frustrated by the coronavirus pandemic. Despite that, Nigeria's participation at GITEX Technology Week provided the much-needed boost to the startup ecosystem through in-person industry interaction and with the creation of new business opportunities. NTA was on ground to capture interactions and appraisals.
And I want to study all the tech startups growing up in Nigeria, because I would like to invest there more.
Today I'm just go around to see some new technology in this GITEX. So I'm very surprised. I found this stand is very interesting.
The GITEX 2020 has been amazing. It has given us as startups, the opportunity to showcase our solutions. We need to be proactive. Secondly, in digitalization you cannot avoid risk, but you can reduce the gravity and the significance of that risk.
Future is here. What we need to is to go back home and create it, because it's already working here.
While the world awaits the next decade of emerging technologies from these creative minds, it is officially a wrap for GITEX 2020.
It's been an engaging technology week of reimagining the future in the midst of a global pandemic. The biggest of its kind in the Middle East, North Africa and South Asia, where a lot of groundbreaking technologies have been discovered and transferred. And for Nigeria, the digital journey continues with the hope that it keeps getting better. From the World Trade Center, venue for GITEX 2020, Joseph Johnson, NTA News.
Thank you, Joseph. Now, with the spike in COVID-19 infection, Kaduna State government is scaling up tests and getting its isolation centers ready to handle emergency cases should there occur. The State Commissioner of Health, Amina Baloni, says government will also not hesitate to impose another lockdown if people refuse to adhere to safety protocols. Muhammad Omar Ajinge reports.
117 persons, mostly aged between 10 and 35, tested positive for COVID-19 in one day. A worrisome record for Kaduna State. The State Governor Nasiru Ahmed El-Rufai has since gone into self-isolation as a result of the surge in infection rate among senior government officials, including one of his close family members.
I'm therefore in self-isolation and hope to be tested by Sunday. This is purely a precautionary move that complies with the standard COVID-19 protocols.
The State Commissioner of Health, Amina Baloni, says it is now a reality that the second wave of the virus is spreading across the state. And if the infection rate continues at the current rate, it may overwhelm the health system.
The rising infections is a reminder that COVID-19 remains a potent danger to lives and livelihoods. Anyone who remembers the pain and sacrifices of the lockdown period will not want that to be repeated.
As government takes decisive steps to contain infection rate, the commissioner says that people must live up to their responsibility by adhering to COVID-19 prevention protocols. In Kaduna, I am Muhammad Umar Ajingi, NTA News.
And as the second wave of COVID-19 looms, Governor Abdullahi Umar Ganduje has ordered the reactivation of testing and sample collection centers across Kano State. This was after receiving an update from the state's technical response team. Abdullahi Mustafa reports.
Following the deployment of various response strategies, Kano State was able to flatten the pandemic curve with less than 10 active cases as of November 2020. With the recent spike in the number of cases across Nigeria, Kano's positivity rate is also rising. More than 80 new cases and 2 deaths were recorded in December. This is against 71 infections recorded between September and November.
Enforcement can go to certain extent, but people need to comply with instruction.
Against this background, Governor Abdullahi Umar Ganduje ordered the reactivation of testing and sample collection centers across the state and the recall of volunteer workers to the COVID-19 response team.
So that we take this fight back to community level. If we do that, I think we are reversing the equation.
Observance of COVID-19 protocols, he stressed, must be ensured in all public places to prevent further transmission of the viral disease. In Kano, Abdullahi Mustafa, NTA News.
President Muhammadu Buhari has expressed shock and sadness at the death of publisher of leadership newspapers, Sam Nda Azaya, a man he described as a friend and ally. The president condoles with the media fraternity, the Nda Azaya family, friends and associates of the deceased, saying the country has lost a man of conviction, a resolute and dogged believer in a better Nigeria. He will be missed. This is a massive fish gone out of the media ocean. President Buhari further says of the pharmacist, renowned columnist, and one-time presidential aspirant on the platform of the All Progressives Congress, APC. Meanwhile, it has been an outpouring of condolences from groups and individuals describing the publisher of the leadership newspaper, late Sam Nda Azaya, as an exceptional fellow that will be dearly missed. Momside Mandati compiled the messages.
President of the Senate, Ahmad Lawan, describes the demise of the pharmacist turned newspaper columnist, publisher and politician Sam Nda Azaya, who passed at the age of 58, as shocking. The President of the Senate prays for the repose of his soul and comfort for his loved ones in this period of grief. Similarly, the Progressive Governors Forum says it has received the death of Sam Nda Azaya with heavy hearts. The forum's chairman and governor of Kebbi State, Abubakar Atiku Bagudu, describes the death as a loss to the nation, the Nigerian progressive community, and the global media world. Meanwhile, Information and Culture Minister Lai Mohammed has expressed sadness at the death of Sam Nda Azaya. In a statement signed by his special assistant, the minister says Sam Nda Azaya's death is a great loss not just to his family and the media industry, but to the nation at large, true to the motto of his newspaper, for God and country. The minister said Sam demonstrated his abiding faith in the country, not just in words, but in deed. Where many saw challenges, he saw opportunity. Where many peddled fear, he preached hope. He was indeed a great Nigerian and a true friend and brother, Lai maintained. In the same vein, the Northern Governors Forum says it is devastated by the shocking news of the death of Sam Nda Azaya. Chairman of the forum and Governor of Plateau State, Simon Bako Lalong, said the development is a monumental loss to Nigeria and the northern region. Governor Lalong, however, eulogized the late Sam, who was a successful businessman and never afraid to dream big and venture into various fields. Similarly, Governor Abubakar Sani Bello of Niger State says an Iroko tree in the pen profession has fallen And Niger State has once again lost a passionate and dedicated citizen. Governor Sani Bello describes the deceased as an exceptional media mogul who demonstrated courage in his write-ups, adding that he was also a successful entrepreneur and politician who will be greatly missed. The International Press Institute also describes the death as a heavy blow on the pen fraternity. The institute, in a statement by its chairman Kabiru Yusuf, offers condolences to the family of the departed colleague, to the staff and management of Leadership newspaper, and to the entire media community. Momsode Mendati, NTA News.
Now, the body of late Shaba Nupe Alhaji Abdul Malik Ndayako has been laid to rest at the Umaru Majiki Palace, Bida, in Niger State. The late Alhaji Abdul Malik Ndayako died this Saturday after protracted illness. As Shaba Nupe, he was the second in hierarchy among the royal title holders in Bida Emirate after the Etu Nupe Alhaji Yaya Abubakar. Jones Ajayi in Bida sent in this report.
Chief Imam of Bida, Sheikh Adamu Yakatu, led the prayer. Sheikh Adamu Yakatu prayed the Almighty to forgive the late Shaba Nupe all his shortcomings on earth and grant him eternal rest. The Chief Imam also prayed God to grant those he left behind, especially his immediate family, the Etunupe, and the entire Bida Emirate, the fortitude to bear the loss. Etuyaya Abubakar described the death of Shaba Nupe, who is also his uncle, as a great loss.
He has left a very, very wide gap that will not be easy to fill, but for all he has done, we promise Allah to grant him Al-Jannah Firdaus. He was a gentleman to the core, very humble, and he has 100% what one would call human relation.
The late Shaba Nupe, who is the second in command to the Etunupe, died at the age of 82 years. Alhaji Abdul Malik Ndayako is the first son of Ndayako, who was endowed with 4 traditional titles from Etunupe's palace. The deceased was a former Federal Commissioner of Public Complaints Commission in Niger State. Alhaji Abdul Malik Ndayako left behind 4 wives, 32 children, and many grand and great-grandchildren. Jones Ajayi, NTA News.
You're watching Weekend File on the network service of the NTA. We'll take a short break now. When we return, we'll be taking a closer look at mass metering program of the federal government. Do stay with us.
A scorecard like no other. Government has put in place measures and initiatives principally targeted at youths, women, and the most vulnerable groups in our society. These included broad plan to lift 100 million Nigerians out of poverty in the next 10 years, the creation of 75 billion Naira National Youth Investment Fund to provide opportunities for the youths, and the Micro, Small and Medium Enterprises Survivor Fund, through which government is A. paying 3-month salaries of the staff of 100,000 micro, small and medium enterprises. B. Paying for the registration of 250,000 businesses at the Corporate Affairs Commission. C. Giving a grant of 30,000 Naira to 100,000 artisans and guaranteeing market for the product of traders. These are in addition to many other initiatives such as farmer money, trader money, market money, N-Power, N-Tech, and N-Agro. These and more in spite of a recession and a global pandemic.
dreams come true this Christmas. There is one that has class. And I pass my neighbor. Gadgets for every moment. Redmi Note 9 Pro. Upgrade your life. Powered by Xiaomi.
Do you know that 35% of every girl child and women are raped on a daily basis? Some are killed in the process. Some take their lives in shame. Others remain emotionally dead for life. It is sad. This culture is not ours. Definitely not African. How did we allow bad culture to infiltrate and take over? Even if you lack fear for the law, what of fear of God? And you, why do you cover up rape acts when it happens? Remember, a problem shared is a problem half solved. Never cover any rape act because a rapist is a murderer. It could be you or your loved ones next. Women must be treated like the prize gem they are. Say no to rape.
Are you ready for this?
Let me hear you, AJ. Give me some bass. That good for you? Nice, AJ. Bring it out. Double it.
I was born hungry for success. It's the Nigerian way. Glow gets it. Champions stay hungry. Oh yeah, Glow gets it big time. One more for sure. Champions go the distance and then go further. Glow, the heart of a champion.
You're welcome back, and indeed we have our guest tonight in the person of Oyebode Falikbe. He's the head of corporate communication, AEDC. You're welcome to the program.
Thank you very much for having me.
All right, before we start our conversation, let's take some reports. Now, in a bid to cushion the hardship experienced by electricity consumers in Abuja, occasioned by the estimated electricity billing system over the years, the Abuja Distribution Company, AEDC, on the 3rd of November 2020 began the distribution or disbursement of 900,000 prepaid meters in Abuja and environs. Wofai Ebo in this report examines the impact of this gesture on electricity consumers in Abuja.
The Abuja Electricity Company has distributed prepaid meters to various communities in a bid to ensure that customers pay for power consumed only.
We are geared to install 101,000 meters. It's our duty to ensure that as quickly as possible we can meter our customers in our catchment area.
Here in Gaduwa Estate, Apo District, where the flag off for distribution of free prepaid meters took place, the effort is highly commended.
I commended them for an innovation of this nature, which I believe will go far distance in providing electricity for the ordinary person.
It's a very good initiative. The metering was free.
This, however, may not be without its own challenges.
The prepaid being the unit is now half of what we used to have before.
My own problem with the meter
is that I used to use 10,000 a month. Now I'm using about 35,000.
While doing the changing, I don't think they did the real analysis before they started, because there should have been a mechanism where your units that were in the meter will be transferred almost immediately. But that didn't happen.
Before last month that they increased their tariff, we always spent 34,000 naira for light for 1 month or a week. This morning, the light we bought last week for that the same 34,000 naira is already finished for 1 week.
Residents of FCT are of the view that if meters are provided to them, it will bring to an end the challenge of estimated billing and entrench transparency in the revenue generated through electricity power supply. Wofa Ibo, NTA News.
Now, to bridge the metering gap in the power sector and eliminate estimated billing, the federal government introduced the National Mass Metering Program. Annie Daniels takes a look at how the initiative has been of benefit to consumers in Lagos.
Nigeria grappled with the issue of inadequate electricity power supply. Over and under billing were also issues that translated to unending complaints by electricity consumers.
After taking over of the property, I discovered that there is a bill of over ₦1 million. So I asked the previous property owner, and he confirmed to me that for over 6 years, he did not have any tenant in that property, and electricity was disconnected.
Complaints like this prompted the introduction of prepaid meters. To address the inadequacies in the provision of prepaid meters and make it readily available to Nigerians, the meter asset provider framework was introduced. The framework mandates distribution companies to engage meter suppliers to make it readily available to end users in their service areas.
Government and Labour, we have agreed in principle that those meters should be produced locally. One, it creates employment. Two, it also improves our local technology.
To further actualize the federal government's dream of eliminating arbitrary estimated billing and revenue losses, as well as expected strengthening of meter value chain, the National Mass Metering Program was again introduced, where 6 million prepaid electricity meters approved by President Muhammadu Buhari were freely deployed across the country.
And it's also designed to aim at reducing or cushioning the effect of the service-based tariff that was introduced in September.
This is one key area that Nigerians have been talking about, but they can be sure now that they can be rest assured that they will always have electricity meters whenever they need it. And also, government seeks to use this initiative to stimulate our economic recovery.
The National Mass Metering Program, respondents say, will undoubtedly meet the expectations of power consumers across the country. In Lagos, Annie Daniels, NTA News.
As government and stakeholders contend with prevailing challenges in the nation's power sector, investors in Enugu State are contemplating investment in the production of meters. This is despite government's planned mass metering program, expected to encourage local production of the device. In this report, Emerge Powers takes a look at prospects for wealth creation in meter production in the state.
Available statistics by the National Electricity Regulatory Commission puts the nation's metering gap at about 6 million, which no doubt opens up investment opportunity in that sector. For investors in Enugu State, that window of investment is shrouded by regulatory framework that makes it unattractive.
A situation where you stay like a contractor and register as a vendor with a distribution company, you're only at the mercy of the distribution company to buy your meters and install for consumers. What they can do is they can get the job done to specification. If you like, you come and buy from them. They should be able to have distributions all over the country where they can sell them. So they don't want to depend on somebody giving them LPO. If they give them LPO, they smile to the bank. If they don't give them LPO, they won't eat food. Things this way wouldn't encourage this mass metering the federal government is aiming at.
Enugu State is a fast-growing business hub in the southeast of the country, considering the ease of doing business ranking that places Enugu second in Nigeria.
The kind of security
atmosphere that we enjoy in Enugu. A lot of investors are coming into Enugu. The number of factories that are springing up in the M&A axis, the night mile axis of Enugu, you see that it spells out huge opportunities. Anybody that will go into metering business will really enjoy.
Meanwhile, the public relations officer of the electricity distribution company in the state told NTA News that arrangements are being concluded between the company and the Central Bank of Nigeria to secure a facility that will enable the company purchase 92,000 meters under the first phase of the program.
The step government has taken now will enable us provide these meters to customers and allow them time to make this payment. In the real sense, it's free because you're getting it without making payment, but you pay for it over time.
The entire arrangement is in line with the federal government's mass metering program. In Enugu, Amechi Pius, NTA News.
All right, now back to the studio where we have Oyebode Falibe, the head of corporate communication, AEDC. Once again, you're welcome to the program.
Thank you very much.
All right, you listened to some respondents in some of the reports, that we showed a short while ago, and there's this particular one which said that the old meters are being withdrawn, and new ones being issued. And in case you have some units in the old one, all right. So, will you? What happens to the new one in terms of ensuring that the units in the old one is represented in the new one? Because from all indications, it does appear that even if you have a unit or some units, in the old one, when they issue the new one, you just need to go and get a new unit, without any recourse to the old one.
Now, the issue of existing units and transfer is a software issue or is a back-end activity that should not affect the hardware, which is the meter itself. So what they just need to do, for instance, what we do in AEDC is that we take the data of the old meter and then the data of the new meter and then do the movement of the existing credit that you have in your old meter to the new one. It's a software issue, it's a back-end issue, so that's not a problem. For me, what I have seen from the report is that all over the country or from the locations that those reports were taken, there's excitement all over the place. Customers are getting excited about the fact that at last one of the most topical issue in the sector is being addressed frontally, and that is the issue of meter, so that billing can have the kind of integrity that it ought to have, and that's exactly what we're seeing right now.
All right, now the aim of the mass metering program is to bridge the gap of about 6.25 million customers yet to be metered in the country. Now, how many meters are being rolled out currently?
Well, for us in AEDC, the data as of today, we started November 3rd, which is just about, today is November 12 or so, which is just
December
about
12.
Sorry, December 12. Thank you for that correction, which is just about a month plus, and we've done over 14,000 in all of our franchise area of Kogi, Nasarawa, Niger, and the Federal Capital Territory. About 14,221 customers have been metered so far, and that's a considerably good performance, given the fact that this is a project that is supposed to run for 60 months, targeting about 900,000 customers.
Now, the CBN is financing the mass metering program, and we would like to know the criteria for local manufacturers, to access the fund, or are you relying on imported ones?
I think part of the whole essence of this metering project is also to encourage local manufacturers. Now, in terms of criteria for meeting the facility, I think that may not be something that is open to the discourse. It's going to be purely between CBN and the manufacturers. But I know that a fundamental requirement is the fact that they are locally based here, and I know that those meter manufacturers are at the risk of crossing the line of advertising. Those local manufacturing companies are already taking advantage of this situation. We have been working with some of them, and we're still working with them to provide us with these meters.
Now, are the meters distributed free to customers?
Yes. There's no customer that has spoken right now that has said a kobo was collected from him. At the point of installation, no kobo. Before the installation, no kobo. After the installation, no kobo is taken from the customer.
Now, what about the integrity of the meters we're talking about? Because some persons have complained that, look, if you you normally use this perhaps 10,000 naira for a month, and this time around about 35,000 naira for a month. So
now,
what is it?
I found that quite interesting, and the reason is because there is a standard organization in the power sector called NEMSA. There is no way we will put any meter in the public space that meter will not go through the testing procedure of NEMSA. But this is where I think the problem is. Most of the meters that are being replaced have had their functionality dropping. So, meters that have stayed for maybe more than 10 years or 10 years, or in some instances, not necessarily the age, but because for one reason or the other, it has also dropped in functionality. It will not capture the quantity of energy that customer is consuming. So that at the end of the day, you see customers vending 2,000 and spending 2,000 for 3 months. I mean, it's unthinkable. It's absolutely unthinkable. So when you now put a new meter there that is still very active, and then the meter records the correct reading, they say, oh no, the meter has been tampered with, the meter does not have integrity and things like that. But again, they have forgotten that availability has also improved. So at the end of the day, customers must really tell us what
availability of power.
Yes, availability has improved.
So there's not much of the outages.
Exactly.
So you consume more.
And you are expected to pay more. So customers must really determine what they want, because they started with the cry, we want meter. The meters have come now, you are saying that it's consuming too much. Short of saying that we want electricity without paying for it.
Now, you said, you talked about NEMSA.
Yes.
That all the meters went through NEMSA.
They usually do their sample procedure. I mean, sample testing procedures.
Because we're talking about the number.
It's unthinkable that you want to test 900,000 meters. So you do so. I mean, this is statistics. You take some random sample and say, okay, if I have tested this quantity, there is a probability that all of them will be okay. I mean, it's a probability. Otherwise, the time to do all of those testing is not there, because customers are in a hurry to also get the meter.
All right. Now,
it's a bag of mixed feelings.
Federal government has abolished estimated billing, hence the mass metering program.
They have not abolished estimated billing. There's still capping of estimated. What has happened is that there is a capping of estimated billing. Estimated billing has not been abolished. It's just that it has been. I mean, there is a limit to which you can bill a customer. Take, for instance, for customers in within the franchise area of AEDC, maybe Papi, maybe Asokoro, maybe Karu, and things like that. The capping for Papi is not the same thing as the capping for Asokoro, or the capping for Karu, or the capping in Niger, or the capping in Nasarawa. So there is a capping. And the National Mass Metering Program is supposed to put an end to the issue of estimated billing. But because we can't meter all our customers in one day, the logistics is not, even the meters are not available to do all of those ones in one day or within a short period, I mean, at the risk of hyperbole. So you find out that over that period of time, until we are able to crash that figure, estimated billing will still be there. Why? Because customers consume the energy, and once they consume, somebody must pay for it. MBET is waiting for his money. MO is market operator is waiting for its money. Transmission is waiting to be paid. Generating companies are waiting to be paid. Discos are only a collecting agent.
All right, now let's take a short break. When we return, we'll conclude the conversation. For now, we'll take a short break. We'll be back very shortly.
Better business from Nigeria. Merry Christmas, Nigeria. Dial *777#. Glow.
Wednesday, 5:28 p.m. Getting ready to lay down some tunes, but something ain't right. There's some discomfort in my throat. No worries though. TomTom Fresh Lime is here to save the day. Discomfort gone, time to bring the heat. Thanks TomTom Fresh Lime for giving me soothing relief. TomTom Fresh Lime, cool with a zing.
You're welcome back. Now, millions of Nigerians are bidding farewell to what many consumers of electricity describe as arbitrary charges. This is made possible by the federal government funding and supply of meters to homes across the country. Haruna Mohammed brings us the situation report from Kaduna.
If all Nigerians are metered, it will lay to rest the unnecessary contention of estimated billing. It will improve revenue for the service providers, and it will automatically translate into additional resources to the distribution companies, the transmission company, and even the generation companies to enable them invest in infrastructural development.
Sigh of relief for Abdulaziz Muhammad and Bello Laden Arafat of Stephen Shekari Estate in Kaduna, a classical example of the kind of impact the federal government intends to have on its citizens through the mass electricity metering project. What remains for Bello and Abdulaziz now is a steady supply of electricity as they bid goodbye to estimated billings, which has been a thorn under the feet of the electricity consumers.
Well, we feel delighted that they have started with us.
We are now avoiding that exorbitant amount of charges that we used to, the NEPA used to charge us before.
The distribution company in charge of Kaduna and environs has covered significant mileage in the journey to meter its customers as directed by the federal government under the Electricity Metering Support Initiative.
We have embarked on the National Mass Metering Program and we've launched it in 2 different states. We've launched it in Kaduna sometime in November. We did the same thing the same month in Birnin Kebbi, that is the state capital of Kebbi State.
The federal government electricity metering initiative is going to electricity consumers without any form of charges. In Kaduna, I am Haruna Mohammed, NTA News.
The implementation of the National Mass Metering Program in Port Harcourt has given rise to steady power supply, transparency and accountability of energy consumed. This is just as stakeholders appreciate the economic benefit of the program while appealing for federal government's interventions to put an end to the sharp practices by service providers. Ijoma Ugweke reports.
National Mass Metering Program, an initiative of the federal government, is to cover the challenges associated with metering deficit. With the commencement of the program by Port Harcourt discussed 2 months ago, the installation is ongoing. This exercise geared towards ensuring that complaints arising from estimated billing and meter bypassing are addressed. Etelo Amadi David and other stakeholders acknowledged the benefits of prepaid meters.
Mounted it, then we have to be paying 4,830 something naira per month. Okay. As you recharge, they deduct the 4,000 something. It is more better than maybe paying on estimated bill.
You know, before now, some of the problems they have is that the energy is lost. Some people don't pay. So those people that pay now pay for every person's own because they have to meet up. It has not been a very good business model, but now it's a very good business model. They will benefit, consumers will benefit, every person will become conscious.
As prepared meters are yet to be installed in other parts of Port Harcourt, some other stakeholders have decried the inherent challenges arising from the meters, which they believe have been tampered before installation by service providers.
On a semi-meter estate, I got a complaint from one of our tenants there that the prepaid meter installed in his flat has 31,000 naira arrears before it was even installed.
We have been expecting all this meter while they are still giving us estimated bills in different forms, which we've been complaining.
With the ongoing installation of prepaid meters, it behoves on consumers to monitor what they consume to ensure full realization of the National Mass Metering Program. In Port Harcourt, Ijomu Gweke, NTA News.
All right, thank you, Ijema. Now, what are the mechanisms put in place, to monitor the distribution of the meters? You've just told us you distribute about 14,000 within your own area of jurisdiction.
Yes.
Right. Is there any monitoring mechanism put in place for you to know who gets?
Well, in terms of monitoring, the first thing for us is that we have a database of customers who don't have. And then what we normally do is that we send text messages to them to say, okay, look, we have identified your area your house as one of those customers that don't have a meter, and then we're coming to install a meter. Of course, the customer is in the best position to validate whatever we have done. So in terms of monitoring, the customer is one level of monitoring that we can do. The other one is for NEC to also do sample monitoring of locations that we claim that we have installed meters, and then they can go and verify. Otherwise, again, I think the third level is for the media itself to conduct its own research. Otherwise, there is no other way we can say that we are doing the monitoring. Once we say we have put a meter in a place, the customer is a level of validation, NEC can do its own monitoring, and then the media can go out there to say, did you get a meter? Yes, I did. No, I did not, so that they can validate our claim.
All right. Now, how does this actually translate to increase in power supply?
Oh, fantastic. Now, once you have metered a customer, you can now release more energy into that location, because you know that all customers are metered. So the amount of energy that goes into that location is coming back to you almost 100%. Why I say almost 100% is because energy itself is heat. As it goes along the wires, you lose some of them. I think the international standard is that you are allowed to lose about 15% or slightly above that. But almost everything comes back to it. So you get back about 85% in terms of revenue, and that loss allowance has been given even in your revenue profile. So you now have the confidence to release more energy, because you know that money has been paid ahead of that, ahead of the release of that energy. So it will also encourage the discos themselves.
So power outages has always been
I can see that
because of no metering, you don't release power to places because of expected building or something. Because from what I've explained, it doesn't appear like this because people are.
It's also very, very important that we don't waste energy.
Okay.
It's very, very important that we don't waste energy.
All right. Oyebode Fadikwe, Head of Corporate Communication, AEDC. We thank you for coming on Weekend File today. Thank you indeed, as always.
Thank you very much. I'm sure you are also enjoying good availability now.
But we're paying more now.
Well, it has to be so, sir.
All right, let's take another break. We'll be back shortly.
Cross the bridge. With pains in our heart, but gratitude to God Almighty, we announce the passing unto glory of Professor Anthony Rayford Duna of the Harvard Medical School, Cambridge, USA. He was aged 53. Burial arrangements. Body arrives Nigeria on Sunday 13th December 2020 and will be flown to Yola on same day. Wake keep at his family residence on Sunday 13th December 2020 at 4 p.m. Funeral service at LCCN number 1 Hong on 14th December 2020 at 10 a.m. Interment follows at Christian Cemetery in Pella. Late Professor Duna is survived by a wife, Dr. Grace, a daughter, Amanda, an aged mother, brothers, sisters, and relatives. May his gentle soul rest in perfect peace. Announcer Tashikauma Hala for the family. Across the bridge, there's no more sorrow. There's no more sorrow.
Nigeria Volleyball Federation has organized open trials in Kaduna in preparations for the Junior Female and the Continental Championships in 2021. Olumide Oguntola is our guide on sports update.
About 200 male and female volleyball players have converged on the Ahmadu Bello Stadium, Kaduna, to participate in the Open Camp Trials that was organized by the Nigeria Volleyball Federation to select players who will represent Nigeria in the forthcoming Under-18 female and Under-19 male volleyball tournament scheduled for next year.
There is need for
for the federation to invite all the players that are within the age.
The other criteria we are looking at is the height.
In table tennis, ahead of the 2021 Paralympic Games in Tokyo, Japan, Nigerian para-table tennis players are presently in camp, training at the National Stadium, Lagos. The team, which is made up of 14 players, 10 men and 4 women, are taking part in the first phase of camping, which will last for 2 weeks. The exercise will also afford the players the opportunity to prepare adequately for the forthcoming Value Jet Para-Table Tennis Tournament open in Lagos.
It has really helped in terms of getting our strategies right.
We expect the best of all best from them, and we are sure of bringing back laurels to Nigeria.
In football, the need to provide African players with the right scientific training was the focus of a one-day football coaches training and workshop webinar organized by Top Pro Sports Management. Highlights of the clinic, which had UEFA-backed coaches as resource persons, were training methodology, cost of coaching development, levels of coaching, coaching psychology, and team mental preparation, amongst others.
A training workshop like this will be able to teach the Nigerian coaches all they need to know about modern-day football coaching.
To teach our coaches how to get our players to send to Africa for a good money, to a good opportunity, to a great deal, to a great club.
From the English Premier League, action continues on Sunday when Fulham hosts Liverpool, as Arsenal is set to trade tackles with Burnley. Brighton and Hove Albion will be the guest of Leicester City, among other matches. With sports updates, Olumide Kuntola, NTA News.
And now some weather reports.
Glad you could join us. The northern part of the country is expected to be in sunny, hazy, and dry condition. The central and the inland cities of the south should be sunny with patches of cloud throughout the forecast period. And to the coast, cloudiness is expected with prospect of thunderstorms over parts of Delta, Cross River, Lagos, and Bayelsa in the afternoon into evening hours. And that's what will conclude the weather forecast for Sunday. Thank you for watching. I am Teddy Helen.
And that's our program for today. We thank you for watching. We'll see you again next week.